Hey there guys, welcome to Button Basher 360. I am host Adam and you're watching a video. Okay, so this is part 3 of the 3-part tutorial on how to use Paint.net. And yeah, so in part 3 I'm basically showing you how I use Paint.net to make my thumbnails and skins and textures. This is the original zombie skin that you can probably remember me making. If you haven't watched the video, I made quite a nice time lapse. The video will be on the top left hand corner of the screen now. And yeah, so go check that out. Okay, so I'm going to begin with my with this. This will probably be at the beginning of the tutorial number 1, 2, and 3, but this part here will be changed and it will be a different color to resemble the different parts of this series as well as having a different number. The word tutorial on Paint.net are not going to be different colors. Okay, so I'm just going to begin by showing you that they're all on different layers. If I click on if I'm going to get rid of all of them, this is basically transparent here. If I go down to here, you'll see background in italics. This is the original background I got off Google Images, which was delivered free, so there's no copyright involved there. What I did, the original image was a lot smaller than this, and what I had to do to it was I added some effects. I went to blur, added fragmentation, and I went up to fragment count up to 4 and then the distance. What I did was I added a blurred effect, so it made all the colors look like they blend in a little bit more than they actually did. They were very distinct colors and they didn't blend in at all. So by adding that fragmentation effect to it, it has made it look a lot nicer. There are still some white parts here, however, but I think that just adds to the whole array of colors which is on this palette here and this palette here. And that's why I did it. I don't know if it looked nice or not. I don't really care. Actually, I care a lot. Okay, so the next step that I did was I found the Paint.net logo and I made and named a layer for it. If I click on it, I actually found this picture and it was given by Paint.net themselves. That's why it's got the little trademark there. I didn't actually notice before. And it was already got it actually had a white background, sorry. That's why here it's a little bit dodgy because I didn't really clean it up very well, but you're not going to really see it very much. But what I did was I used the magic wand key. Actually, I'm going to get out the tools. I used the magic wand key here, and I turned down the tolerance, and I highlighted the white parts of it. As you can see around here, there's actually a black border background thing. That I had to, that was already there, but as you can see here, there's parts that look a little bit dodgy, but again, when you're zoomed out, you don't really notice it as much, because now I can notice it really well. But anyway, so that's how I got this part. I made it so that they're different layers, because if I had this layer on top of this one at the same time, it could influence this background, which would be annoying because I may end up highlighting, well, if I just layer down, if I wanted to highlight, I don't know, this blue, actually no, this color, it would also highlight them, but if I wanted to highlight the white background, it may also highlight these. The tolerance is not really high up, but if I, yeah, like that basically, and it would highlight some stuff that I wouldn't want it to highlight, and it's just a lot easier if there are two separate layers. The next thing that I did was I made a tutorial. The reason why I made this on top of this one is because it just helps in case I have the number 1 layer like this, it's actually underneath the tutorial, and when there were different colors it really propped out and showed. But I then made the tutorial words. I used the text here, and I used Avral, and I think I went up to 84. No, I didn't. I think it was one of these. Yeah, okay, I used 116 Avral to type this out. Paint.net was already typed out, and Paint.net actually made their their logo and whatever with paint.net. So that just shows the extent of how well the system can be used and the hands of a master, which I am nowhere near yet. But I just know a decent amount to it. So basically they made all of this using different effects and brushes and stuff. But I just typed this up, and I typed up the number 1 and the number 2. The reason why I have got it like this, set up like this, is because if I wanted to remake this number to a tutorial bonus, or tutorial number 2 or number 3, if I wanted to make a bonus tutorial, I would have to change this, wouldn't I? So if I get rid of everything else, apart from the background actually, and highlighted just this, and made sure I'm clicked on video number, I can't actually edit it because it will just type over it. So all I'd have to do is I have to delete it. I'll have to delete that by highlighting it and pressing the delete on my keyboard, and then go back to text and type down either #B, like that, #bonus. I could actually, no, it's better in high. Ooh. Yeah, 192. Sounds right about right. Yes, I can either do that, or I can literally type down bonus, which I'm not going to try and type down now. I think #B would probably be best, because it would fit in, hopefully, quite nicely with that. Sweet. Perhaps it was in, this is going to bug me, perhaps it was like that. But if it wasn't, and the tutorial is too close, I can deselect the bonus, because that would annoy me and distract me as I'm doing what I'm doing. Zoom in really far and move this over a little bit, which would give me just about enough space to then go over, choose this tool, highlight that, and then highlight this, and then move over a little bit if need be. Trust me, when a few pixels are in play, they can sometimes make a difference depending on the size of the picture. Or if I would like to, which thinking about it now would seem like a cool idea, what I could do is I could lower it down again so that it's underneath. Choose a nice color, I don't know, like light blue, and delete the B, and go back down to the text. I could actually then type it underneath, like that. So now it has a cool effect, and I could probably choose a different type of font, like this one. I don't know, it just looks nice, and it was the first one I saw, and have it say bonus or something, which would be a cool idea. So that's how I make my thumbnails. I'm now going to close that and not save because I already pre-saved it. Okay, so pixel art. This is basically what I do on paint.net all the time, apart from making thumbnails. I zoom in, and I have to highlight what section I need. Now, I think this was in 32-bit. Yeah, so the zombie skin is actually in 32-bit, not 64-bit, but more. So, yeah, you then go pixel by pixel. I feel when you're doing skins that you need to have a certain idea in your head of how you wanted it to look. I draw a lot of pictures before I actually go onto paint.net. My pictures tend to come out similar to how they come out when I'm actually drawing them, but there's quite a bit of difference. I.e., when I drew this, the eyes were a lot more circular and were more or less the same size. But the problem I had was that to draw this eye here with any realism, it had to be a certain shape, and to have this eye look as gory as it is and not conflict with the brain missing, I would have to have it like this, because if I go to this tool and draw up a little bit like that, it kind of conflicts a little bit. Wait, it's like that. It kind of conflicts a lot with the brain marrow being missing. Let me just draw up as well, where there's a little bit too much black, and the way I could go by this is by like having to go around it, which wouldn't be too hard, but as you can see, it's kind of disformed the whole shape of the brain and the skull being missing. It also made the actual eye itself look a little bit weird, because it would have to be a considerably bigger size to have plopped out of there. So the next thing I have to concentrate on, where with this part here, I believe I didn't actually use the gradient tool. I went along, but the way I did that was I chose a nice red to start with, which is up here, which is this red, and then I went down by 20 each time. That's down by 40, but you get the idea. Yeah, well, close enough to 40 anyway, to 20 anyway. But yeah, and then I went down until I got to eventually pure black, which is here, and that's how I got that effect. I didn't want to change the body because I didn't want it to stray too far from the original zombie. But as you saw in the actual texture pack, I've got like 8 zombies, and they all ended up like that. Okay, now I didn't do this when I actually did the zombie skin, but a good idea to have similar drawings on, like, because for the ears, you have one ear there, one ear there. What I could have done was I could have copied it by going to copy, made a new layer, pasted it, so it's now in its own layer. If I wanted, I could have renamed it to zombie ear. And with this zombie ear, if I go up to layers up here, that rhymed. If I go to layers, it says flip horizontal, and it's on layers here. So let me close that a little bit. It's now fully flipped over, and I could now place it within correlation to that. I would have to spend a little bit more time on it than I actually have. I mean, this isn't going to be in the texture pack, I don't think. Like that. So now it's a perfect representation of this part here, just being flipped over a little bit, flipped over completely. And then what I could have done is gone to brush tool, get rid of that, go back to here, no, and then like copied that and made some more dots. Or I think what I did do was I just copied and pasted it along a little bit, which is technically cheating, but it's a little good cheat that helps. Like that. So now it's a perfect ear, but it's still bitten off, and I didn't want it to all look the same, and I didn't want it to be too symmetry, if you know what I mean. So there you go. So that's basically how I use Paint.net for texturing of skins. Shading, I don't really use shading all that much, but because I don't really like shading in. But I think when you do shading, if you do want to do shading, you have to really concentrate on light and darks and where the light and darks would be. So let me copy this blue part here, so it's now in my color palette. Ooh. And then go to the filler tool, and it's now filled in that whole part there. for shading you have to concentrate because arm will be covering it, so you would have to have a darker shade of grey. 50 Shades darker. Anyway, and you would want to have two different shades of it, the original shade and the not so original shade. Go to the gradient tool, go to the linear reflect, and perhaps go like this. I didn't show this off, but there's actually a swap color key button here, or you can press X to swap the colors round, which gives off that effect. Like that. You could try it, but if you want to do that, you would have to do a little bit more experimenting. You could have like a diamond shape if you wanted. I don't know why you would want that, but that could give off a nice checkered effect. Circular, or one of this weird one that I still don't like at all. I'll probably stick with this one though, because it's the closest you're going to get to a perfect version of this. Or you can go like that. I don't know why, again, but yeah, that's probably what I'll do for shading. And then you have to concentrate, because shading is not all easy going, because you also need to concentrate on where the shades would be on a curved body. So if you're shining a light at yourself, the light will be shining from the top of your forehead downwards, and the light would separate as it curves over your body, so it'll get darker, but not so dark that it looks like a cylinder, but a gradual getting darker, so it looks like it's only just getting darker. Now, all my textures are in 64-bit or 32-bit, as you've seen here. So I don't really do textures in 16-bit, I think it is, which is what Minecraft is in, or 8-bit or whatever. So yeah, hope these tutorials have helped you. And if they have, a thumbs up rating would be nice. You could also leave a comment telling me if you liked it, or if you didn't like it, or if there are things that you want me to add in a bonus, if you want a bonus. And yeah, if you want any more tutorials and anything, you can put that in the description. If you have any questions for me personally, you feel free to put them in the comment section, or to send me a private message. Anyway, yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and bye.